Hey guys, hello. How's everyone doing? It's Thursday. So no, that's Friday. Tomorrow, TGIF. So we're on Thursday today. Yeah, how you guys doing? Has it been a really good week for you guys? What's everybody doing? There's been snowstorms and all sorts of things going on. So I just want to say welcome and hi. And I love coming on and doing these little lives. So today's going to be a little shorter. Um, but today we kind of want to talk about bravery and courage. And I thought it would be fun to kind of do things just a little bit differently. So we're going to kind of get going in just a second. But I was kind of moved and inspired to kind of do this live just a little bit different. So I'm just going to wait for a few more people to get on. Hey guys, hey Kat, hey Bonnie, hey Sandy. Doing good, good. I'm doing good. Hey, I got my new air conditioner in my office, and yeah, freezing. So careful what you wish for. I am literally freezing. So I just can't seem to get warm, but not complaining because I think it's maybe better to be cold than too hot. I don't know. So anyway, so happy Thursday. I've been in my office since 6:30 this morning. Yesterday I was in my office at 6:30 this in the morning. It's been a busy week, but I'm happy to kind of chime in. But I am going to kind of chime out a little early today, so it's going to be a little shorter live. And I really wanted to, as I say, I always get inspired as I do my walks, as I do my drives. And on Monday, I felt inspired to just speak about courage and bravery because last week, if you guys tuned in last week, we spoke about fears and being fearless. We spoke a lot about that, and I'll tell you, this whole week, I did a lot of life readings on. Um, and so much stuff came up with clients who were feeling fearful. And so it's really interesting that now we kind of want to move a little bit into courage and bravery. So anyway, so for any of you guys who don't know what my life readings are, just real quick, I'll share. Life readings are when, you're feeling a little bit stuck. I kind of go into your energy and I just kind of get moved to where focus should be placed for you. And it's different for everyone. I like to kind of cover some things that obviously my clients might want to have an overview on, like what's going on with finances or things like that. But again, I really want to kind of empower my clients and kind of get to the meat and potatoes of things, of areas and where maybe you need a little bit of a lift and see things a little bit differently. And so I've been doing just a ton of those this week. And so anyway, I love them because it really gives a lot of clarity to my clients. And we all need that sometimes, don't we? Sometimes we just feel like fog all around us. So sometimes there's just so much fog kind of going around us, and we just need to kind of let that fog lift. And life reading kind of helps do that because makes you aware of things that are kind of going on in different ways that you can kind of tackle stuff. And fear was kind of a big thing this week, and so it was kind of cool to help people work through that. So anyway, so today's going to be a little bit on courage and bravery. So before we kind of chime in, I want to say hi to all you guys. So hello, and again, I'm going to do it a little bit differently today. Typically, I always end with a quote or something like that because I love quotes, and if you follow me, you know that. I have a whole quote wall in my house, in my dining room actually. But today, again, I felt just inspired to I was just going to go off the cuff again today, but this time I felt inspired to kind of read some quotes that are a little bit inspiring in regards to bravery and courage, and kind of love to get your feedback and what you think about those, right? Like, does it resonate with you? Can you relate your life a little bit with the particular quote that I chose to speak about today? So I always find quotes very inspiring. I find quotes very helpful because I really get a lot out of them, and I always try to apply them in my life. And does this fit for me? And where could I go with this quote, and how does it sit in my heart, and does it move me and make me want to take action? Because I really think that's what quotes are about. It's about helping you take action. So courage is about taking action. So I just felt like today we're just going to talk about quotes. So I pulled some quotes that I really liked, that I felt I resonated with, or that I felt perhaps you guys might resonate with. And so that's what we're going to do. So I just want to kind of say hello to a couple people here really quick. Sorry, oops. So there we go. All right, guys, let me just say a quick hello, and then we're going to get going. Hello, Kat. Hello, Bonnie. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Christine. Hi, Evie. How are you, sweetheart? Hi, Sarah. Hello, Pam. Good afternoon. Kat. Hey, Ann. How you doing? I'm doing good, thank you. Glad you are. Hello, Erin. Hi, Lynn. Hello, Miss Christine Maxwell. How are you, darling? Lisa, how are you doing, sweetheart? Hi, beautiful Paula. How are you? Hello, Joyce. Hi, Pamela. Cassie's here. How you guys all doing? Thanks, all of you guys. And Dagmark, Rupa, if I can understand that. Let me just see. These Instagram names are always so challenging for me. So I'm not gonna be able to do this live without my glasses, just FYI. So anyway, so I want to kind of talk about courage. Courage really is about taking action, and I always feel that when we take action, it really does give us some empowerment, because when we sit idle and we don't move in any direction, it keeps us from more. Doesn't it? It kind of keeps us from more. And sometimes, like last week, we spoke about fear. It kind of holds us back, right? And courage is about taking action. And some of us kind of feel like, where do we get courage from? And where is it? And do I have it? And how do I pull it out? And let me just kind of tell you, first and foremost, courage is all around you. So first and foremost, that is a number one, and we'll talk about that. And as I'm just waiting for a couple more people, all of you guys are getting going, I just want to take a moment here. I just want to talk really, really quickly. I have a little bit of an announcement for next week. For any of you guys that have followed my Facebook Lives with my Letters from Spirit, I am going to be coming on and doing a Letters from Spirit next Thursday. So I have a letter from Edgar that they would like to share. And as I sat and channeled that session, I knew it was for Letters from Spirit and not for Saturday sessions with Edgar. So just FYI, so if you guys are around next Thursday, a week from today, same time, 5 o'clock Pacific time, 6 o'clock Mountain, 7 o'clock Central, and 8 o'clock Eastern, I'm going to come on, and I have a letter from the guides, and it's on the recipe of your life. And that is what they want to speak about. And so it's a lovely little letter, and I thought it was fun. And I love that they also included it, as I knew they wanted it for Letters from Spirit. So that's what we're going to do. So Mondays, as you know, I can't do anymore because it's Monday Mama Day. And a lot of you guys email me and ask me how my mom is doing. And I thank you so much for all of that love. I saw her Monday again, and I'm telling you, it's the best she's been. So she has really turned the corner, and she was dressed and really good in her, she just was great. And so all of you guys that have expressed concern for my mom, she's really doing amazing, and it was a great visit on Monday. And I really think the Mondays help her, and I think they have really helped her. She looks forward to me coming, and it's been really helpful for her. So I just have seen the lift in her spirit. And so anyway, I'm going to continue to do that for my mom. So I can't do Mondays, so Thursdays are going to be kind of my Facebook live days if when I can. So next Thursday, Letters from Spirit, if you guys can make it, love to have you. And I think it's a fun letter. And so I hope you enjoy it, and join me if you can. Let me know what you think about that. Are you guys up for that? What do you guys think about doing that? Kat says she's so excited for her reading with me tomorrow. Hello. Love that, Kat. Looking forward to it. That's going to be great. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Oh, hey, Lynn. How are you? Paula's in Houston. Let me just see what we're doing. Happy Thursday. Hey, guys. I believe quotes are encouraging and motivating. I totally agree. I tell you, I pulled myself out of a lot of ditches looking at quotes and really living my life through them. So I'm a big quote fan. Hi, Kim. Hi, Arlene. Hey, Joanne. How you guys doing? So you guys up for next Thursday for Letters from Spirit? We're going to do a letter with Edgar. You look especially amazing in that color. Wow. Oh, thanks, Deb. Hey, you know what? I'm trying to wear more color. So I'm working on some stuff here, and so anyway, I am working on trying to wear more color. So thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. Thanks for saying so. Um, Color has energy. It really does. Do you know that color has energy? And I always try to wear darker colors. I don't know why, but color's fun. So I'm having a good time with it. Glad to hear your mom is doing well. Let's just see here. Yes, she's doing very well. So good. So I just want to kind of tell you guys next Thursday, Letter from Spirit, I'm going to come on. Also, not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday is my Saturday sessions with Edgar. And that is going to be March 6th. And it's a lovely topic on spiritual well-being and emotional well-being. And I love the analogy that they use, and it's super clever. And of course, the guides are very clever. And of course, they make it very easy for us to understand. And they put things in a way that we can kind of resonate with and keep with us. So we have something to look towards when we're thinking about the topic. And so I thought it was really clever. I was really kind of like, ooh, when I channeled that. So anyway, Saturday sessions with Edgar, they're $15. They're once a month. You can join any Saturday that you want. The next one is coming up, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, Saturday, March 6th. It's going to be at 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific time, and it is 10 o'clock Mountain Time, 11 o'clock Central Time, and noon Eastern Time. And they're about an hour and a half, and I'm kind of excited about these, and so I'm looking forward to that. So love to have you join if you can make it. Tickets are on my website, monicateurlings.com. Also, real quick, and then we'll get into courage, I promise. One more thing, Kisses from Heaven. I'm doing it again. So I'm going to be doing it Saturday, March 20th. It's going to be messages from loved ones, and really wonderful to just bring a bunch of us together and just allow me just bring forward, messages as I'm feeling loved ones step into the space and where they want to go with messages to those that are joining in. So that's going to be Saturday, March 20th. It's going to be on Zoom. You can get tickets on my website. So that's exciting. It's going to start 5 p.m. Pacific time, and it'll be online over Zoom. And I love doing that. I love the energy. I love doing all these readings, right? I love the privates. I love the small groups, and I love a little bit bigger groups. So they all really give you something special and different, but you always feel the love of the spirit world. And I love doing them. And so Kisses from Heaven is going to be Saturday, March 20th. You can get tickets on my website while seats are still available. So I welcome you to join me there and really bring in that delish energy. So, okay, so those are my announcements. That's it. Okay, so courage. So, courage is really something that oftentimes we are really wanting to move in a direction in our life, and we feel like we don't have courage, and we kind of, something holds us back. So we want to do something, we want to move in a direction, we want to go after something that we want, something that we're passionate about, something we want to pursue, and yet something stops us. And obviously we talked about that last week, being a little bit of fear, but how do we kind of bust through that, right? And I always sometimes like to talk about our rear view mirror, because when we are sometimes I always say, don't look behind you, look in front of you. But I do believe there are times in our lives where it's important to look in that rearview mirror and look at the places where you've been and the situations you've been in and how you've managed your way to get from there to where you are today. And there is, I promise you, courage within you, and you have dealt with courage many times in your life. Who can understand that? Who has had something in their life that they have had to deal with where it required to dig within you to pull out that courage? Courage sits within our heart. That is where courage sits, because when we have courage, it's because we're connecting with something that we want, something we're desiring, something we're hoping for, something we're longing to have in our life. And it's that desire that allows that courage to percolate within us. So when we have these desires is when the courage kind of comes, when there's a little bit something that we feel roadblocking us, you see. And what are those roadblocks, right? We talked about that last week. Most often it's our own mind. It's what we're saying to ourselves that's preventing us from moving forward. It's what we're saying to ourselves, the words that we're speaking to ourselves, the conversations we're having with ourselves that are really holding us in that stagnant place, not allowing us to push forward. And last week we spoke about how fear is really opportunity. Fear is really possibilities. And it's about really having that different relationship with fear. But how do we kind of do that? By, stepping up to it, right? And that's where we need this courage and this bravery. And, you can't have bravery without courage. And courage comes before bravery. We must first feel that courage that allows us to kind of feel it. That is the gas that moves us towards that action, that taking action that makes us feel brave, right? So I thought it would be kind of fun to just kind of talk about a couple quotes that I pulled that I thought would be kind of interesting. I want to hear from you. Let me know if you resonate, because I'm passionate about quotes, and I know many of you are as well. And so I have many here today that I just want to kind of push through a little bit. And then I want you to pause a second and say, does this resonate with me? Can I accept this in my life? Has this happened? Has that, I want you to kind of take a second and feel into like this actual quote, and do these words percolate within you? Do they build that courage within you? And can you think about something in your life? So take a moment first before I get started. Is there something in your life you want to move towards? Is that a new job? Is that a new relationship? Is that a new home? What is it for you? Is it, trying to start your own business? What is it for you? So what are you trying to have in your life? What are you wanting to move towards in your life? What are you wanting to enhance in your life? And have you maybe kind of been a little stagnant in pushing in that direction? And so let's start with these quotes. Think about something in your life right now, so you have something to feel into when you hear the words of the quotes. Yeah? Okay, so you with me? Okay, so let's just kind of say, are we in? Let me just see. Oh, hey there. Okay, let me just see really quick. Okay, good. Glad your mom's doing okay, good. Fear, self-talk, exactly. Fears are our roadblocks, and courage is the detonator to bypass our fears. Absolutely, right? So, but even that detonator, we have to feel more empowered. And when we don't take action to things, it prevents us from feeling empowered, right? Because whenever we move with something, we take action, even if it doesn't turn out exactly how we want it. And isn't that true that oftentimes things turn out very differently? But so often we end up in another direction by that action, but oftentimes it ends up even better than we anticipate. We tend to limit ourselves, and we really are limitless. But it is our mind, it is our self-talk, it is where we position ourselves in our life, how we hold our own selves back, that makes us feel limitless. And in that moment, we feel a little disempowered. And we really are so empowered. I don't like to use the word power because some people get freaked out with the word power, but empowered, right? Nothing feels better than that. And so taking action does that. And we need courage sometimes to step into areas that we are a little nervous about, a little unsure about, right? And so let's start. So let's kind of talk about this. So I have a quote. All right, so here's the first quote. And let me know if you like this idea, because I'm winging it, right? Because I just, at the last minute, I just whipped this all together real quick because I just felt inspired. And again, this is me in this moment, having courage to move forward in a way that I've not done before. So we can have courage in small areas in our life to move us. We don't have to have courage in big areas to get started. We can move in small areas, and lots of small steps of being courageous and having courage, trying new things, stepping out of our comfort zones allows us to build upon that courage, which allows us to build in our empowerment, which allows us to move closer to those bigger things that feel a little overwhelming at this moment. So stepping small ways. So today, me doing this, never done it this way before. I'm stepping into something new. I don't know if you're going to like it or not. I'm just going to try. But, and if you don't like it, then I'll know not to maybe do it again. But I'm not going to beat myself up over it because I'm proud that I'm trying, right? And so you let me know if you resonate with this. And these are just like small little steps. So let's try. Okay. First quote. A ship is safe in a harbor, but that's not what ships are made for. So what do you think about that? Have you ever had something that you really wanted to do? Has there been something that you wanted to do and you never did it? You were the ship that stayed in the harbor. So let's think about that. And I'm sure we have all been guilty of that. So this is not a session of like, let's get down on ourselves. This is about just embracing the fact that, hey, yeah, maybe sometimes I played that ship in the harbor and I didn't allow myself to take myself to sea. Right? But we are made in our life to try things, to express ourselves, to put ourselves out there, to seek joy. And we can only do that if we are expanding ourselves and putting ourselves out there, if we are allowing ourselves as that ship to take sail. And we don't have to go far, but we just got to, even we just get it out of the harbor and just into the bay a little bit, but we just move it out a little bit, like today, me just doing it this way. I'm just taking the ship out of the harbor and out into the bay. I'm not traveling across the ocean here with this. So we could take small steps. But have you ever felt like that ship, not willing to want to like leave the harbor, staying safe, playing safe? And what would have happened? Like, and do you ever think like what could have happened had I maybe took that ship out? Me being the ship, you being the ship. What if I would have like went for it? How would my life today maybe be different because of it? Right? So has playing safe, staying in the harbor served me? What do you think about that? So what do you think about that? So that's something to kind of think about. Is that something that you resonate with? Because sometimes we are just the ship, right? And sometimes we're a little nervous to take it out of the harbor and take it to sail. But then again, if you think about that, I just got this little download. So think about that. Like, what if we took that ship out to sail? Like, oh, look at that opportunity. Look at that vast ocean. And sometimes we might be afraid of the ocean. It's like, oh, that's too big. I can't take out there. But we can always even just maybe just take a little bit and then park it, right? We don't have to go so far. But look at the ocean, how vast it is. And that's really our life. There's such a vast amount of opportunities for us, but we can't really find it in the harbor. So I like that quote very much. So here's another one. Be brave. Remember that bravery is not the lack of fear, but the ability to move forward in spite of the fear. Right? So that's kind of what I just talked about a moment ago about, having those desires within us. And those desires are kind of what activates that courage a little bit, because desire kind of meets courage a little bit, and together it forms a little team and it takes out and conquers that fear, right? Breaks it down. So bring yourself to maybe a time where you were maybe a bit scared to do something. And, we've all been there. We've all been a little scared sometimes to do something. I've been guilty of that, of course. We all have. And it's just being honest. We're in a safe space here, being honest. And maybe sometimes by, doing that, bringing yourself to a time where you were a bit scared to do something, but you did it anyway. That was my point. I wrote that down. How did it feel? So like when you felt brave, when you had that moment of bravery, and I promise you, you guys, you have all had moments of bravery in your life. I know if you could look in that rearview mirror and look behind you, you have had bravery. You have had courage. You have been in moments where you have been afraid to step forward, and yet you did. And it has served you well. It has allowed you to build confidence within you, because that's what happens when we step out of our fear place and we step a little more fearless and we move with courage. It allows us to try things. And when we do that, we learn more about us and we build confidence within us. But standing still doesn't help us. So what have you done in life? Think about that. What have you done in life where you've been able to step up and you actually did have bravery and you did feel courageous and you did have some courage and you stepped into something? And how did that feel? Bring yourself to that time in your life. How did that feel for you? I bet it felt pretty amazing. And we have all had moments like that. So sometimes that's a great starting off point when you now maybe want to move somewhere in a direction you're feeling a little bit nervous or scared to do that. Think back at the time when you had a moment similar or another scenario where you felt that way, but you did it anyway, and it felt good. So just saying. Okay, here's another one. All of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Walt Disney. So what do you think about that? Because let's just take a second about that. Could you just imagine if Walt Disney did not step up and embrace something that he wanted, even if he was nervous. So all of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. So think about that. If Walt Disney didn't have the courage to pursue them, we wouldn't have Disneyland. We wouldn't have Disney World. We wouldn't have Mickey Mouse. My gosh, all these young girls wouldn't have Cinderella. We wouldn't believe in fairy tales. We wouldn't believe that greatness is possible for us, right? Despite how the stepsisters treated her, how she found her Prince Charming. A lot of us as girls, young girls, we love that storyline, and that really gave us confidence. And for a lot of other Disney has done great things for us. Think about if there was a world with no Disney, and think about what a difference he's made to so many of us. And think about if you go after your dreams, think about how that could touch somebody else too. Because often our dreams that resonate within us, it never not touches somebody else. And it matters not if it's one person, 3 people, 10 million people. We don't have to be Walt Disney scale, but whatever we do that feels right, that flows out of us and onto somebody else. So think about that too, how we can change and affect our lives positively and other people's lives positively by embracing and pursuing our dreams with our courage. What do you think about that? I think that's pretty powerful. I would hate to think of life not with Disney World or not Disneyland or not having these wonderful videos, these movies that really get us to be imaginative and creative. Okay, so that's another one. What do you guys think about that one? I like that one a lot. I have a favorite one too. I'll tell you when I get to it, because I have one that's a quote that I'm just like, whoa, I love that one. Love that one. So we'll get there. Okay, another one. Fear is a reaction. Courage is a decision. Fear is a reaction. Courage is a decision. So what do you think about that? Does that resonate with you? Because it's really our decision if we choose to step out of fear and into courage, right? So it's our decision if we want to connect with our desires and connect with the courage that sits within us, because desires sit within our heart. Courage sits right next to it. It's got a place right next to our desires. Courage and desire sit right next to each other, right? So they come together, they meld together, and that is what gives us our power to move forward and bust through our fear, right? So fear is a reaction. We respond and react to our fear by sometimes not having any reaction, by keeping us stagnant, keeping us in quicksand, not letting us move, creating that and staying there long enough. It can be overwhelming. So let's step out of that. So that's a decision, and that's a decision only you can make. You can only be the one that makes that decision. So we are in charge. We are in charge. And I think so much of us, sometimes courage needs to be found in our knowing that we are in charge of how we choose to respond to things that we're feeling. It is in our choice, and it's in our power to choose on if we're going to allow fear to empower us or disempower us. If we're going to allow to let our desires meet our courage and use that as teamwork to bust through the fear, right? It's a decision. So how many times have we maybe sat on the sidelines and not really embracing and taking that choice and that decision to go forward? So something to think about, but it's our decision, and it's how we associate ourselves with the decisions that we make. How do we feel about that? I know when we make decisions and move forward with our desire that sits with courage and we take that forward, it's going to lead us to good places. But how are you ever going to know if you don't do it? How are you ever going to know if you don't allow that courage and your desire to meet, to work, to build together, to give you what you need to bust through the fear? Right? Or whatever, fear or being scared of something that you want. Go for it. Okay, let's see. Courage is never to let your actions be influenced by your fears. So I utilize this a little bit as like a dance partner, right? Courage is never to let your actions be influenced by your fears. So it's our choice which one we want to dance with in life. Do we want to dance with the fear, or do we want to dance with the courage? Again, it's a decision, it's a choice, and it's really just which room are we wanting to play in? Do we want to play in the room of courage, or do we want to play in the room of fear? Again, last week we spoke about how we create these rooms in our life that our fear is, we just decorate that room and just it's so uncomfortable, right? But courage is about possibilities. Courage is about, decorating a room of saying, I'm unstoppable, I'm limitless, I can do this, I'm excited, I'm curious to see where it's going to bring me. And that builds power within you, this wonderful inner power that makes you step into what you want and makes you empowered. So how awesome is that? But it's your choice on how you want to dance with it. If you want to dance with fear, you want to dance with courage. But I promise you, you're never going to win any dancing award dancing with fear, right? If you could just make that like you're dancing with the stars, right? You're never going to win on. You're never going to win it. You're never going to get that ticket. You're never going to get that prize. You're not going to win if you dance with fear, but you will win if you dance with courage. So you need to pick your dancing partner in life, right? That's how I see it. So I always get little visions. So you can choose which one you want to dance with. And yeah, so that's what I wrote about that. Okay. Courage is the power of the mind to overcome fear. Martin Luther King. Courage is the power of the mind to overcome fear. And I think that when we start having a new relationship with fear and we begin to use words that are more empowering to us towards that, what we're a little bit afraid of, understand that what we're afraid of is only because we're stepping into something that we have not done before. And what we have not done before and we want to do it, but we're a little scared, it's just because we haven't stepped into that zone before. That doesn't mean it isn't going to be awesome and amazing. It's just because we're stepping into land that looks different. And sometimes we get stuck in that little comfort zone, don't we? So courage is the power of the mind to overcome fear. So it's about changing the words that we're using in our mind. It's about doing it differently. So remember that. So just remember that we need to change the words that we use that create these thoughts in our mind, because fear is really here and it's the thoughts that we're putting there. So we need to change that mind. So Martin Luther King was very bright, wasn't he, when he said that? Fear sits in your mind and you give it a seat there. That's what I wrote. So fear sits in your mind and you give it a seat there. So it's up to you to change seats. It's up to you to pull the seat away, right? You can either keep that chair there, and a lot of us add seats there. We keep adding seats to our fear. We keep adding seats in our mind when it comes to the things that we're a little bit afraid of, afraid to move forward in. And so what I just want to say is stop adding chairs in our mind in that room of fear and take the chairs away, right? Okay, you must be courageous and brave and not fearful in taking advantage of life's opportunities as they are made available to you. And this is from A. Posse? I don't know who that is. Anyway, but I think that's kind of what we talked about last week, where I spoke about fear being opportunity, fear being potentials, fear being possibilities. It's really just getting you to pay attention, really. It's our emotions that's giving it the fear feeling. It's our emotions that's attached to it. And usually it's because we haven't done it yet. So we're unsure about it. We're not quite trusting of it. And that's what's building that emotion of fear. But it's really just opportunity. And it's just showing up. But it's our association to that something new that's holding us back a little bit. That's what's making that uncomfortable feeling within us that's preventing us from moving forward. So does that make sense? Are you guys resonating with that? Yeah? Tell me what you guys think. I love to know. So, so just kind of remember that it's taking advantage of life opportunities, but understanding that the fear is not really something to be afraid of. It's not danger. It's just fear, and it's only because it's an area you haven't stepped into. So it's uncomfortable because you're not used to it. It's uncomfortable because you don't know what's going to be. And that's really our uncertainty, isn't it? Stepping in and not being certain of what the outcome's going to be, and that keeps us from it. But how are you ever going to know if you don't try? So, ask yourself, if you're 80 years old, how would you look back on life? Would you wish you would have done it? So that's a quick thing to ask yourself. If I'm 80 or 85, am I going to look back on my life at that particular time in my life with this thing that I wanted to pursue? How would you feel about that if you could make yourself the 85-year-old? Right? Something to think about, right? Would you have regret? Would you realize that, boy, I was scared for no reason? Because now you've had more life experience being 85 that now tells you you could have conquered it, because now you know the warrior that you are. So, at 85, you know that warrior. You've been through so much life experience. And isn't it just experience? right? But how are we going to have new experiences if we're not willing to step forward in it? So that's where our courage is. And that's why we have desires. And that's why courage sits with desire. Courage is always that safety belt to your desire. It's always about giving you faith and trust to be able to go for it. You know, it's like your little safety belt, so you can feel confident. So maybe create courage through a safety belt. I have this desire, I'm strapping on my courage and I'm going for it. And I feel safe and protected that I don't know the outcome, but I know it's going to be something more than what I have now. And that's exciting. And I think we should step into life with more curiosity. Okay. All right. Okay, here's my favorite one. Okay, so this is my favorite one. Okay, so here's my favorite. So my favorite one is bravery is the ability to look fear and hurt in the face and say, move aside. You are in the way. I just love that. So what do you think about that, guys? Hi, guys. How are you all? So I just want to say, what do you think about that? I love that one. Bravery is the ability to look fear and hurt in the face and say, move aside. You are in my way. Doesn't that feel empowering? I just feel empowered saying it, you know, and it's just like that in that moment when you say it like that, in that moment, it's like you're in charge. And so much is feeling in charge. And sometimes we feel a little bit fearful and we don't feel courage because we don't feel in charge. Now, there's a difference between being in charge and being in control. We can't control outside circumstances, so control and being in charge it's similar, but it's not really the same, because being in charge is a feeling that you have. It's a feeling you hold within you. I'm in charge. And controlling is really different, right? Because trying to control something is really you trying to manage your fear. But we can't really control things, so it's not really relevant to, it's not really helpful to try to control things. It's really more helpful to let go of control and just allow and just do it that way, because that is when you're going to find a lot more things coming your way and flowing. You know, just let it go and just let's see what shows up, and just embrace that. So I love that quote so much. What do you guys think? Okay. One of the greatest discoveries a man makes is to find he can do what he was afraid he couldn't do. Henry Ford. So let's think about that masterful guy. So one of the greatest discoveries a man makes is to find he can do what he was afraid he couldn't do. Now, I don't know. What do you think about that? Could you imagine all the things that are waiting for you in life, all the possibilities that you can have, being that boat in the ocean, taking it out to sea a little bit and touching upon that vastness of limitless possibilities for yourself, and just begin to take a bit of it. Just fish a little bit. Be that fisherman on that boat and just start reeling in some fish, you see, some opportunities, and start living like that. Can you imagine what a great man who discovered, I think he wasn't he the guy that made the first car? Think about that. I think wasn't Ford the first guy that made the first car? I don't know. I'm not a great history buff, but I think he was, wasn't he? So I love that, right? So I love that. It says that when we can connect with something that we didn't think we can do and we find out that we can do it, how empowering is that? I mean, in that moment, aren't we just feeding more courage to ourselves? Because we're just, and then the more we step into things that we are maybe nervous about doing, but then we go ahead and we do it anyway, we step into that moment of feeling courage. And within that, we then learn about ourselves and we know, hey, I was able to do this. I would never have known if I didn't do it. And here I did it. And that gives you confidence. And now we've got courage. Now we have confidence. And now we're moving in something. Now we're finding qualities about ourselves. Do you see, by just taking that chance and just fishing a little bit on that ocean, taking that boat out to sea a little bit, and doing a little fishing and finding that we can catch a lot of great stuff for ourselves, all that potential. And now you start learning that that's a part of you that you didn't even know because you never tried. But when you try, you discover, and you find out that you can do things that you were afraid to do, and you realize you can do it. And how awesome. So love that. So courage, the power to let go of the familiar. Hmm. Well, that's a big one, right? Let go of the familiar, because I really think that a lot of us kind of stay in the comfort zone, don't you think? And that's what I think about when I read that quote. I really think about the comfort zone, the power to let go of the familiar. Sometimes we just get a little too comfortable. And I don't think you can grow if you stay too comfortable. I'm not saying being comfortable sometimes is a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. We all like our comforts. And we all sometimes move back to what is comfortable. And I think that's just being a human, and that's normal. But when we only stay in what's comfortable, we don't allow us to grow. And if we don't grow, we never know ourselves. And we really have to be willing to want to get to know who we are. And so we can't do that if we're not trying things. We can't do that if we're not willing to do things. And so it's important to be able to, it's important for ourselves. It's important for our joy. It's important for our happiness, because when we're uncovering things that are within us and we're learning that there are qualities that we're able to do and things that we're afraid to do that we find out we can do, and we can often do them masterfully. That's really exciting. And now we start stepping into excitement in our life. And now we're starting to live with expanding the possibilities. And now that gets really exciting. And that leads to more curiosity. And being more curious is a great way to live, because now we want to know, like, I did that. I was afraid, but I did it and it worked out well. So what else? What else is there? And now we become a seeker. Isn't that amazing? Now we become this wonderful seeker. So just saying, right? So what do you think about that quote? The power to let go of the familiar. Are we willing to step away from something that's so comfortable and step into something that might be a little bit uncomfortable? Because there is value in being comfortable in the uncomfortable. So just want to say. Okay. Okay, what else? Let me just see. All right. Be brave. Without bravery, you will never know the world as richly as it longs to be known for you. Without bravery, your life will remain small, far smaller than you probably wanted your life to be. Elizabeth Gilbert. And if I'm correct here, and help me out, guys, isn't Elizabeth Gilbert the one that wrote Eat, Love, Pray? Isn't she the one that wrote that book, Eat, Love, Pray? Isn't that Elizabeth Gilbert? And didn't she go on this incredible spiritual journey where she went to India and she went to Italy and she went to Bali, and she really just was courageous. She was feeling really stagnant in a relationship. She was afraid of, I think, this marriage and where it was going, and she just had incredible courage to take risks and just take a year and just explore and find herself. And along the way, she found love, and along the way, she found spirituality, and along the way, she found all of these things within her. And it was a lovely movie if you guys saw it or you read the book. But I think it's kind of true, sometimes, and this is not to say, any of us are small, but we are all a little smaller than we can be, myself included. So when she spoke about that, we stay small, and we can never, and our life stays small, and we can never really be as great as we could be. And I think that is what happens when we're not willing to take chances, and we're not willing to trust the desires that sit within us. And she had that desire within her heart to go and find herself and to uncover things. And she just, it was quite an unfolding for her in her life. And it turned out to be a pretty good thing for her. And, but that took courage to do that, right? But from that, her life really grew larger. And then she became an author. And then she, now she has this wonderful app called Calm. And, there's I think she has the app called Calm, right? Anyway, so, sometimes we keep ourselves small by not taking steps. And, we don't have to make huge steps. We can make small steps, but we should always be stepping in some direction towards something that will touch us in a positive way, that's allowing us to get a little bigger, right? So Anyway, and who knows the size, right? How big? You never know what could happen. Do you really think, Steve Jobs knew his potential, what it was going to be when he was working out of the garage in I think his parents' house? I think that's where he started, right? So, I mean, think about some of these people in life that just took chances and gave it a go, and where they are today. Look at Amazon. Look at Amazon. Look at that monster of a company, right? This incredible company who he took a chance. He had a really comfortable job that he left to just start something that he believed in, that he just wanted to pursue. And so, we never know. And we don't have to make things that big, right? It could just be being comfortable in our skin. It could just be wanting to take steps to be more comfortable with who we are and starting to love ourselves for what we are. And sometimes it takes bravery and courage to start peeling down the layers that have been holding us back in life. Stories we have told ourselves, stories others have told us, experiences we have had through other people giving them it to us, and sitting with that so long in our life. So sometimes sometimes those things keep us small. So it doesn't have to be career based. It could just be personal based. Like, what is it within us that's held us back? What has kept us small? Maybe we should look at that, even if it feels a little scary, that maybe by doing that, it's going to allow us to peel that layer, look at it, and recognize that it has no place there anymore. And by saying, move out of the way, you're in my way, allows us to now see what is past that for ourselves. Does that make sense? So anyway, okay, so let's see if there's one more here. Is there one more? You have to fail in order to practice being brave. Mary Tyler Moore. So Mary Tyler Moore said you have to fail in order, no wait, you have to fail in order to practice being brave. And, let me just give you a little example, so, as a medium, I'm always, trying to expand my work. And when I try to expand my work, it isn't always a home run every time, right? So I'm always trying to deepen my connection with the spirit world. I'm always working on that, but, it's a process, right? To kind of get better and better and better, right? So the other day, I just kind of sat with the spirit world and I said, I'd love to kind of know some more names. I'm not a big name medium. And I think really the reason why is because I don't really feel that gives healing qualities. I'm really about the healing element of the work. And I really like to get into really bringing the loved one into the room and allowing my client to really feel them. And you can't necessarily do that if you say, Bob's here, right? But for some people, that's very evidential. And they're like, oh my gosh, Bob's here. Perfect. But I never really worked on that area, right? So this week I've been getting a lot of names in my readings, right? So but it's kind of like stepping out of that fear zone of like, oh my God, I'm going to say Bob, but what if Bob's wrong, right? So sometimes I hold back because what if Bob's wrong? So this week I just worked on my own courage a little bit and say, I'm just going to play with it. I'm just going to take the chance, right? So I was in a reading and I said, brought in someone's husband, and I said, I'm sorry, is your husband's name John? And she goes, that was his name. But I had already gone into this whole wonderful reading of wonderful messages, and she really felt him. So then I think it allowed me within myself to ease, to allow it to be okay now to kind of get the name, because I don't always feel a name is that healing. So I want to make sure the healing's there first. And then I kind of let it go within me. And then I felt that name. And then I just said, I'm just going to try it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I was right. So wonderful, right? Yay. I practiced, I took courage, I tried. So I had another reading, and then I said, gosh, I got to talk about Jimmy. I was wrong. No, Jimmy, way out, totally wrong. So, but I tried. So I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know where I was getting Jimmy. So, okay, but I tried. So I wasn't right. Does that make me a bad medium? No, it just means I'm courageous, and I know by being courageous, I'm going to step into something else that's going to lead me to more. So I'm not going to beat myself up. I got Jimmy wrong. So same reading. I sit and I say, oh, here we go again. I'm feeling a name. I got to talk about Margot. Boom. There it was. I was right. But if I would have let Jimmy hold me back because I was wrong with the name Jimmy, I wouldn't have been able to trust myself and go with Margot. So be okay if sometimes you make steps and it doesn't go in your way. it's okay. Just stick with it, right? So does that make sense? It's a little silly example, but it is an example because if I just stay and say I don't ever want to get names, then I'm never going to be able to work on that, right? So I got to be willing to give it a try, and it's okay. John was right. Yay, I got her husband's name. Then I said Jimmy. I was wrong with the next reading. That's okay. But within that same reading where I was wrong with Jimmy, I got Margot. So, but would I have gotten that if I would have just let that Jimmy thing hold me back and now keep me stagnant? So we have to just always be willing to step out. And it's a little example. So what I'm just saying is we can make strides in small ways. We can start taking steps in small ways in our life, whatever that is for you. And that's just what I wanted to say. So I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little live today, just to kind of maybe inspire you a little bit, maybe just kind of keep you in a thinking kind of mindset of, how can I use courage? And I just leave you with that little example of something kind of little, not a big deal. That the name wouldn't have made or break the reading whatsoever. I already had that reading. It was already a beautiful reading. But that was really more for me, you see. So that was, it was for the client, of course, but it was teaching me also, stick with it, If you don't succeed, try again. So John was yes, Jimmy was no, but then I got Margot. So, we just have to be willing to take a little bit of a risk in our life, in our way, that we can make small steps to stride towards more. And that's kind of what I just want to say here. So next week, I'm going to come on Thursday and I'm going to do Letter from Spirit, and it's going to be fun, and it's about the recipe in your life. So I think it's a fun one, and I know they wanted to make that Letters from Spirit, so that's what we're going to do. It's not a letter, it's not a Saturday sessions channeling session. It was for Letters from Spirit. So let me just say hello to any of you guys. If you guys are on board, let me just see. Hi, guys. Yep, my ship has been in the harbor. Denise says, my ship has been in the harbor, right? But I think all of us at some point can resonate with the ship being in the harbor, right? We don't, it's just about acknowledging, because sometimes, guys, when we just honor it and we kind of say, you know what, my ship's been in the harbor. Bravo for Denise for saying that. Sometimes our ships are in the harbor. By just saying that allows us to bring awareness to that. And in that moment, that fear becomes less because we have now identified it. So now we say the ship's been in the harbor, and now it asks us in what areas. So now it asks of us to say, in what areas have we allowed that ship to stay in the harbor? And now we're addressing it, and now we're looking at it. And when we take fear out of the room and we place it there and we look at it, it really isn't that big. It becomes a lot smaller. So that's what I want to say. So bravo for you, Denise, for sharing that. And we've all been there, you see. We've all had those moments. Bravery is an amazing feeling. It really is, because in that moment, you have accomplished. In that face of bravery, I'm going in and I was brave. I know that I just did something bigger than I knew I was 10 minutes ago. Right? And in that moment, you can connect with a greater part of you. When you step into your courage and you become brave and go for it, you in that moment have now connected with a stronger part of you, a strength within you. And then you start connecting with that strength, and that begins to build. And then that strength is there. And then you can feed from that strength to help you with the next situation. And then it grows. And this is how we become courageous in life, by just building upon it and making it bigger and highlighting it and knowing that it's there. And you only know by touching it and taking the chances. Okay, let's see what else. Kathy says, yes, absolutely. It's the uncertainty, Sarah says. We talked about that. We need to train our minds not to be so fearful. Absolutely. But that's what we do. So when you have when you have a word that feels a little bit fearful or uncomfortable for you, acknowledge it. Say, oh, okay. Give it a name. Call it Nancy. All right, Nancy. Cancel and give it a positive thought instead. So acknowledge it, because when we acknowledge it, it doesn't become as big. Oh, okay, Nancy, I hear you. You're telling me I can't do that. Right, okay. Well, I know I'm capable of this because it's in my desire to have it. And because of that, I know it's for me, so I'm going. There, that just wiped Nancy right out of there, didn't it? Nancy, the negative thought. So, just play with that a little bit. Sarah says, that's good, Joanne. That is a good one. Love it. Good. Ford Ferrari. Okay, perfect. Leslie, thank you, honey. Good movie, Leslie says. Let's just see, where are we? Some of these are all coming in late from others. Steve Jobs also traveled to India and discovered meditation and credits that for creating Apple. I love it, right? Because when we're willing to open ourselves up a little bit and we're willing to take chances and bring ourselves in uncomfortable places or unfamiliar places, right? When we step out of that comfort zone and we step into something else that we don't know anything about, it can be transformational, like Steve Jobs, right? And going to India and starting this meditation practice and doing this, and then going into the garage and starting it, not knowing what it was going to be, but just doing it. And whether we do this, we do our change in big ways or small ways. The fact that we are just stepping into what's right for us is amazing. Amazing. So my life readings talk a lot about this kind of stuff. So this is the kind of stuff we talk about in our life readings. I get moved into your area in life where you might need a little bit of a lift, a focus. Where are we? Where are we stagnant? Where are we a little in quicksand? What could we do? And kind of help lift you out. Right? So a lot of this is parts of my life readings, just so you know. I'm not a big prediction person. Kim says, you are exactly right. Lack of courage will rob your joy. I took a step today, and even if nothing comes of it, I feel like I have the courage to keep trying because I believe there is more, something better, and I am ready to find it one step at a time. Amazing. Amazing. Hold on. I think she said more. One step at a time. Perfect, right? So bravo to you, Kim, right? We don't know if we don't try. If we're not willing to give ourselves that enough, if we're not willing to give ourselves the time to care enough about things that might be important, that sit within our heart, that we want to do, we don't want to be 85 and wonder what would life have been like had we done it. So sometimes we just need to kind of be our future version of ourselves and say, hey, if I never really stepped out of that comfort zone, if I never tried things that were unfamiliar, could there have been more for me? Just saying. Sarah says, inspired. Thank you. Hi, Sally. How are you, honey? You got here late. That's okay, honey. Yep, exactly. You can watch the replay, darling. Nice to have you here. Kat says, thank you. Wonderful. Okay, good. Wonderful, guys. Good. Well, good. Okay, good. Lots of positive feedback. Wonderful. Love that. So just kind of know that, you are capable of staying where you are or taking the chance to take some steps forward. Big steps, small steps, just step forward. And I hope these quotes have inspired you just a little bit to kind of think about your courage differently. Be that ship in the harbor and start visually moving it out into the sea a little bit. Get out your little fishing rod and just see what's out here for me. What are we picking up? Right? So, and just be a little playful with it and just go for it. So, I want to say thank you so much for sitting with me today. I know this needs to be just a little bit quicker. I'm a little tired today, so I want to kind of get home and be honest. I want to be in my PJs. And I haven't eaten, so I'm hungry. So I want to get going here, but I love being able to chime in when I can and help lift you in any way that I can. And I hope that this resonated a little bit with you guys. And maybe some of you guys would like to join me for my Kisses from Heaven. That's going to be Saturday, March 20th. Tickets are on my website, and also my Saturday sessions with Edgar. That will be Saturday, March 6th. Tickets are on my website, and those are only once a month. Join whatever one you want, but the next one is going to be not this weekend, but next. Would love to see you there. Would love to see you Kisses from Heaven. Love seeing you on these lives. I want to say thank you so much for joining me and responding and interacting. I love it. Love it, love it. And please know I do read everything. Sometimes I get into the flow and I don't want to get interrupted because I kind of just talk off the cuff and I kind of get into this momentum and I don't want to throw it off. But please know I do read everything that you write. I do go back and watch everything and I read everything. So please know I do. And I thank you for the comments. And I thank you guys so much for joining me and following me and sharing with me these nights. Okay, so I want to wish you guys a beautiful evening. Much love to all of you, and be well and stay amazing, and love to you. Okay, and until next week, I'll be back next Thursday with Letters from Spirit. Okay, same time. All right, and until then, bye guys.